President Donald Trump has made a seismic announcement that is sending shockwaves through the tech and financial worlds. The United States government will be taking a 10% ownership stake in Intel, the American semiconductor giant traded under the ticker symbol INTC. This bold and unprecedented move marks a dramatic escalation in America's push to secure control over its semiconductor supply chain and could redefine the future of global tech, national security, and U.S. industrial policy. In his statement, Trump called Intel a national treasure and declared that this partial nationalization was a historic investment in American innovation, security, and jobs. He added, "For too long, we've relied on foreign governments and overseas factories to make the chips that power everything from our phones to our fighter jets. That ends today." Under the terms of the arrangement, the U.S. government will acquire a 10% equity stake in Intel, providing billions in funding that will reportedly be allocated to expanding domestic chip making, fast-tracking R&D for next-generation chips, and ramping up capacity for national security contracts. According to sources familiar with the deal, the stake will not come with voting rights or day-to-day operational control. Intel will remain an independent, publicly traded company, but the government will have strategic oversight on key programs aligned with national interests. Why Intel? Why now? Intel is the largest US-based semiconductor manufacturer and has been a cornerstone of American innovation for decades. But in recent years, it has lost ground to Asian competitors like TSMC in Taiwan and Samsung in South Korea. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed just how fragile and geographically concentrated the global chip supply chain had become. Factories in Asia were shut down, and chip shortages crippled industries, from auto manufacturing to healthcare. Now, with tensions rising between the US and China, semiconductors are no longer just a business issue. They are a national security issue. Everything from advanced weapon systems to artificial intelligence and quantum computing relies on high-performance chips. And the US government wants to make sure America doesn't fall behind. Trump's move is seen as both defensive and offensive, aimed at protecting U.S. technological sovereignty while also setting the stage for aggressive expansion into frontier technologies like AI, machine learning, autonomous vehicles, and cyber defense. What this means for Intel, INTC. The news sent Intel shares surging in after-hours trading, with analysts predicting renewed investor confidence in the company's future. Intel has long struggled to keep pace with rivals in cutting-edge chip production, but this injection of government capital, combined with the political weight behind it, could fast-track the company's ambitions. With federal backing, Intel is expected to accelerate construction of its mega-fab facilities in Arizona and Ohio, expand its role in military and defense technology development, play a larger role in the government's AI and high-performance computing initiatives, strengthen its global competitiveness against players like TSMC and Samsung. Some analysts say this could be a turning point, not just for Intel, but for the U.S. semiconductor sector as a whole. It could also pave the way for more public-private partnerships or even direct investments in strategically critical industries. Industry and political reaction. The reaction from Capitol Hill has been mixed. Some lawmakers have praised the decision as bold, necessary, and long overdue. Senator Marco Rubio stated, "This is how we bring manufacturing home. This is how we protect our edge in the technologies of tomorrow." Others, however, have expressed concern over government involvement in private enterprise, raising questions about long-term implications for free markets and corporate governance. The private tech sector has also responded with a mix of optimism and caution. Rivals like AMD and Nvidia could face increased competition if Intel begins securing government contracts and subsidies at a faster pace. Meanwhile, global partners, particularly in Asia, are watching closely. China, in particular, is likely to view this move as a threat. The Chinese government has been investing heavily to achieve semiconductor independence and may interpret this development as a sign of increasing U.S. technological protectionism. A broader strategy taking shape. This move is not coming out of nowhere. Over the past few years, bipartisan efforts have ramped up to bring chip manufacturing back to U.S. soil. The CHIPS and Science Act, passed in 2022, allocated $52 billion in subsidies to boost American semiconductor production. Intel was already a major recipient of these funds, but this latest step, an actual equity stake, takes things to a whole new level. It signals that the U.S. isn't just interested in supporting domestic production. It wants a direct financial stake in its success. According to sources close to the administration, this could be the first in a series of strategic investments. Other potential targets reportedly include major defense contractors, biotech firms, and energy technology companies, all seen as vital to national security and global competitiveness. What's next? The deal is expected to be finalized by the end of the quarter, pending regulatory approval and internal structuring. The U.S. Treasury Department, Department of Commerce, and Department of Defense are all expected to coordinate on the strategic implementation of this partnership. Intel, for its part, has not commented in detail on the news, but CEO Pat Gelsinger previously stated that Intel is committed to restoring American leadership in semiconductor manufacturing. This announcement suggests the U.S. government is equally committed to making that happen. Final thoughts? The United States taking a stake in Intel is more than just a headline. It's a signal that the lines between government policy and private enterprise are being redrawn, not just for today's challenges, but for tomorrow's technological battles. It's about chips, yes, but it's also about control, influence, jobs, and national strength. This could be the beginning of a new era in how the United States approaches innovation and how the government partners with the private sector to shape the future of global power. It's a march, all of this. This is second down, it's a bigness. Thanks for watching Finance Spot. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest market moves, financial news, and investment breakdowns. Drop a comment below. What do you think about the U.S. taking a stake in Intel? We'll see you in the next one.